the finals of the 37th edition of the Copa America. Join us as we relive the finals between Uruguay and Brazil next on Goal TV. Hello, everyone. The date was July 22nd, 1995. The venue, the famed Centenario Stadium in Montevideo, Uruguay. I'm glad you could be with us to relive a moment in history, a classic matchup between Uruguay and Brazil. Alongside Rafu Hussein, I'm Kelly O'Donnell. We step back in time to enjoy this match between two of the CONMEBOL giants. In fact, this was a familiar scene in the 80s and 90s. Uruguay and Brazil facing off in the Copa America title. In fact, this was the third time in 6 Copa Americas that these two teams met in the championship.
And the world champs, Brazil, coached by Mario Lobo Zagallo, taking on Uruguay, coached by Héctor Núñez. Uruguay at home trying to clinch another Copa America for them. The lineups for this match: in goal for Uruguay, Fernando Alves, Gustavo Méndez, José Herrera, Eber Moas, and Tabaré Silva in the back line. Gustavo Poyer, Álvaro Gutiérrez holding, Diego Dorta, Enzo Francescoli creating behind Marcelo Otero, and Daniel Fonseca, number 9, for coach Héctor Núñez. Starting 11 for Núñez at home at Centenario. Let's see who Lobo Zagallo brings onto the pitch. This legendary stadium. It's Claudio Taffarel in goal, Jorginho, Aldair, Andre Cruz, Roberto Carlos, and Dunga, Cesar Sampaio, Juninho and Zinho. Up front, the animal, Edmundo next to Tulio.
Uruguay beat Brazil in the 83 Copa America final. Brazil returned the favor in 1989. In 95, essentially the rubber match of this series. How did it turn out? We'll get to the kickoff next on Goal TV. We've taken a step back in time to relive the 1995 Copa America final between Uruguay and Brazil. Uruguay looking for their 14th Copa America championship, and doing so, they would tie Argentina for the most ever championships won in South America. Brazil looking for their 5th Copa America title. Of course, Brazil in yellow, moving from right to left at Centenario Stadium in Montevideo.
So, and this is the summer of 95. Remember, in the summer of 94, Brazil clinched their 4th title. And Coach Parreira, and the assistant was Mario Lobo Zagallo, who's now taken over the national team. Made a few changes in the back line. Andre Cruz, number 14, who was playing for Napoli. Very talented left-footer central defender. And Roberto Carlos starting in the back line for Brazil, replacing Leonardo. Also, Juninho Paulista with number 10 earned a start in this lineup for Brazil. There you have Zinho, who's playing right now in the USL with Miami FC. There he was playing in Japan after the World Cup in 94. A lot of players from Brazil went to Japan.
Zinho just celebrated his 40th birthday within the last week.
There's a young Juninho, debuted for Brazil in a friendly in London against England. Brazil won 3-0. So Claudio Taffarel is the goalkeeper. He was still playing in Brazil before traveling to Italy, played for Parma in Serie A. He was playing for Atletico Mineiro. Right back Jorginho, who's had still Cafu on the bench, was playing in Japan. Aldair, the veteran, played until he was 40 years old for Roma. Andre Cruz and Roberto Carlos, the back line. In midfield holding, Cesar Sampaio with number 5, and Dunga. You see the young Roberto Carlos. Dunga, the coach today for Brazil. Zinho and Juninho, the playmakers. The animal Edmundo with number 7, with center forward Tulio. Now for Uruguay, coached by Héctor Núñez, a veteran coach who made most of his career coached in Spain, had Fernando Alves in goal. Right back, Gustavo Méndez. In the middle, José Herrera, who played for Cagliari. José Herrera, by the way, played right back. He was switched to sweeper later on in this tournament by Núñez. Eber Moas is the other central defender. Tabaré Silva, the left back. Holding in midfield, Gutiérrez, number 5, and Poyet, number 11. Dorta and Francescoli creating behind Fonseca, number 9, who was playing for Roma. He ended up in Juventus later on. with number 7, Marcelo Otero. There you have Marcelo Otero asking for the ball.
Ball set inside the area, but it's Caparel sprinting off of his line to collect. Quickly outlets to the far touchline. Pass intercepted by Uruguay, but quickly taken back and out contact. And the first foul of the match comes in the 4th minute.
That's very good. And by the way, Arturo Bricio Carter is the referee from Mexico. He's assisted by Bomer Ferro from Ecuador and Adrian Gomez from Venezuela.
Threaded through inside the area near the end line. Not much room to operate. It's touched off, and it will be a corner kick for Brazil.
It's interesting. It's late winter in Uruguay in July. And the Brazilians should be colder wearing short sleeves.
Zinho to supply from the corner. And swinger popped in the air by Alves, who the keeper was fouled.
On the bench for Uruguay, you have players like Ruben Sosa, who was a playmaker for Inter Milan, and Marcelo Saralegui, who's a midfielder for Racing Avellaneda, Rubén da Silva, center forward for Boca Juniors, the famous Polillita, and Pablo Bengochea, the maestro for Peñarol, on the bench for Núñez in Uruguay.
Zinho, defended by 2, touched out of bounds by Adonolfi.
For Brazil, you got Dida, the backup keeper, for example, Savio on the bench, and none less than Ronaldo on the bench. Here we go.
But Carlos, the man that suffered the foul. Mendez involved. Carlos hot under the collar, being settled down by a number of teammates. Cesar Sampaio among them.
It's Herrera who hit Edmundo very hard, and what a very strong tackle both ways. Herrera's, and look at Roberto Carlos coming in. Oh, we didn't. Coming in very strong. Should have been booked by Bricio Carter. Yeah, he wrote him down. Roberto Carlos got booked by Bricio Carter.
Mentioned Ronaldo on the bench for Brazil, just 18 years old when this match was being played, back before the phenomenon became the phenom.
The veteran coach Zagallo. Every time Brazil wins a title, you gotta find him. He's involved somehow. He's the coach, he's the assistant, he's a player, or he's something, but he's there, sitting on the bench. Mario Lobo Zagallo, what a story.
In fact, he's the first footballer to win the World Cup as a player. Did it twice as a coach and as an assistant coach, of course, with Brazil every time.
And most of the times, Parreira is involved. For example, in 1970, people forget Carlos Parreira was the physical strength coach for Brazil when Mario Zagallo was the coach. Then it switched in 94. He was assistant Zagallo for Parreira, and they did it again in 98. It's incredible. I think 98 is the only time he hasn't won it. Zagallo, when he's been involved. And he was close. He made it to the final.
Yep. Knocked away by Herrera. Good misdirection, finding space out on the flank. Juninho drifting ahead, looking for the service. Instead, Brazil protecting the ball. They drop it back in their own half, and another confrontation as the Mexican official Arturo Carter has to intervene.
Of course, the leader of this team, Dunga, always with that haircut, military style. He still looks exactly the same as he used to when he was a player. Yeah, I get the feeling Dunga has never had a drink of alcohol in his life. You know what I mean? He's that kind. He's like the perfect footballer.
50 push-ups every night before he goes to sleep.
Before going to sleep. And then when he wakes up, another 100. And he still looks like he still could play. I was surprised, number 7, Marcelo Otero, earning a starting job for Hector Núñez. I thought Rubén da Silva was going to be the starter. And Brazil came out of Group B in this Copa America, where they had to face Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. And Uruguay was in Group A alongside Mexico, Paraguay, and Venezuela. Look at Roberto Carlos again, now against Gustavo Mendes, the right back.
Great slashing effort to win possession, slid through inside the area, pulled across the mouth of the goal, and touched off for a corner kick.
That was Enzo Francescoli stealing the ball and right away pushing forward, getting into the 18. And a cross cleared by Andre Cruz with his right foot. He's a lefty. Andre Cruz, very talented center back. Reminds me of Edinho in '82, same style.
Shallow kick knocked outside the area, but tracked down by Francescoli. Knocks the ball square, shows in support, back for Enzo. Tried to dodge a pair of yellow jerseys, sticks with it, down he goes. And gets the call. Enzo fouled by Dunga.
Dunga and Zinho closing down on the talented Francescoli. He was going to get past them, and Dunga says, no way.
Francescoli putting the ball near the penalty spot. Had it off frame. Now goal kick to Brazil as we reach the end of the 10th minute of play.
The coach Núñez for Uruguay, Hector Núñez, born in 1936, played for Nacional of Uruguay most of his career, but he also played in Spain for Valencia. He's a right winger. Won 2 UEFA Cups playing for Valencia.
Edmundo slips by his marker. He's roaming free, bending with the outside of his right foot. Roberto Carlos tries to get fancy with the outside of his right, and it's out for a corner.
It's Edmundo beating Gustavo Mendes, sending the cross in, looking for Tulio. But it's Roberto Carlos, who becomes a left winger most of this time, especially as young as he was back then.
Juninho from the corner, sailing it to the back side of the 6, where it's snatched by Alves. Quick outlet. And now a foot race across midfield. He's got wheels, touches it square. Difficult pass to complete. And Brazil there to intercept.
Definitely Otero with good pace, but he rushed that cross. 3 players closing in on Fonseca.
Tulio touching a square. Now looks to get on the other end of it, and it's Tulio pushing off and charged with the foul.
And there you saw Jose Herrera. I mentioned he began this tournament as a right back. It was sent to the middle. He's very good closing in, playing as a sweeper also. Here he fouled, or he was fouled by Tulio, the center forward for Brazil.
Tulio scored in the 81st minute of Brazil's quarterfinal match against Argentina. 5 days before this championship match, it came in the 81st minute in a 2-1 game with Argentina in front. It was the equalizer. The match went to penalties. Brazil won, denying Argentina a chance to repeat as Copa America champions after winning the title in 1993 over Mexico 2-1. But the controversy came in the way Tulio scored his goal. Went off of his hand, uncalled by the officials, and still many Argentines will gripe over that blown call, as Tulio was able to lead Brazil to the penalty shootout and now on into the finals.
And they had to attend. Jose Herrera stayed on the ground for a while. Herrera was playing for Cagliari in Italy back then. Tulio for Botafogo in Rio de Janeiro.
A chance for the service. It comes in innocently on the turf. Quickly cleared by Brazil. Tulio at option square. Instead, they'll try and claw their way down the touchline. And Carter will give the free kick to Brazil. Two number 10s tangling. There's Roberto Carlos. Here's Zinho. Back to Roberto Carlos, playing with Zinho still. Dancing around Moss. Roberto Carlos slicing a ball inside the box.
Elbows flying, very intense. Not a good match technically, but it's the pitch that's not helping. It's very soft. Remember, it's late winter in Uruguay. With Poyet goes very strong against Dunga. Poyet, who was playing in Spain back then, ended up playing in the Premiership. He was playing for Real Zaragoza back then.
Roberto Carlos backing up with the left foot, blasting it right through the two-man wall. Shut down near the penalty spot on re-entry, back near the 12-yard marker. Now a chance to tuck it outside of the area. Daring move inside the box, but Uruguay now gets their chance to clear. For Francescoli, hits it back first time, throw into Uruguay.
Again, Roberto Carlos involved. Going against Mendes, the right back. Gets the ball, but so intense, as usual, the intensity of Roberto Carlos. But they arrived in Turkey, signed for Fenerbahce.
This pass intercepted.
What a reception in Istanbul for a rival of Roberto Carlos. Very impressive.
He arrives as a champion after leaving Real Madrid on a high note.
And he'll be coached by Zico, another legend from Brazil.
Brazil again trying to operate down the far flank.
It was Jorginho who rushed that one. I mentioned after winning World Cup '94, a lot of players from Brazil went to the J League. They had began, and of course Jorginho ended up at Kashima Antlers. Ronaldao, the original Ronaldo, the big central defender, ended up at Shimizu S-Pulse. Cesar Sampaio from Yokohama Flugels. Dunga and Júbilo Iwata. Zinho and Yokohama Flugels. So, Leonardo, Kashima Antlers. Great start to the J League back then. And very talented players. World Cup winners behind Lobo Zagallo. He was one of the first left wingers who dropped to midfield, changing for three starters, from three strikers to a 4-4-2 back in '58.
Quality tackle. Out for a throw. You mentioned Brazil's triumph in the '94 World Cup in the United States. It's interesting. In the round of 16 at the '94 World Cup, Brazil faced the U.S. They won that game 1-0. That was the game where Leonardo elbowed Tab Ramos and fractured his skull. Well, the two teams met in this tournament just a year later in the semifinals, and Brazil won by the same score, 1-0. Mundo pushes it wide. Back. Tries to thread it through, and a whistle kills the play.
I doubt it. I don't think Tulio was offside. Good ball movement as usually from Brazil, attacking with numbers and with one touch, spreading those defenders from Uruguay. It was Edmundo involved, then it was Zinho. Look at that pass from Zinho. He's not offside. Edmundo is. Back then, they might have called Edmundo offside.
That's true. Diagonal ball lifted over the defense. Corral just between the lines. Touches square. Now looks to knock it inside the area. Walked outside the box and played into touch.
It's weird to see Roberto Carlos with that little afro of his. I've seen it about 10 years without any hair.
And as for Otero, well shielded by Roberto Carlos.
The top scorer in this Copa America was Batistuta. We played Copa America in Venezuela 07. 4 goals scored by Batistuta, same as Luis Garcia, the Mexican ex-Atletico Madrid. Argentine Balbo scored 3, Tulio scored 3, Freddy Rincon for Colombia 3, Otero in Uruguay also 3, and Eric Winalda scored 3 goals in that Copa America.
Very impressive tournament by the United States, playing in the Copa America for the second time. They competed in the 93 edition and finished dead last, 12 out of 12 teams, then rebounded in 95. They were placed in Group C along with Argentina and shocked everyone by defeating Argentina 3-0 on the final match day of group play.
Argentina with a mixed lineup, but still they had Batistuta starting, for example. They were surprised by the Americans, who learned a lot from 93 to 95. Yeah. A lot. That learning curve was impressive.
All the way back for Tafarel.
But Copa America is the oldest international soccer tournament in the world. The first edition in 1916. They only played 6 matches. Organized by Argentina. It was more of an invitational tournament. Herrera and Roberto Carlos still going at it. Like that also used to play every 2 years. Which changes to now every 4 years.
Zinho plays it ahead. This is Juninho looking for his target man. Tulio knocked down the ball into the hands of Alves.
Even played through the Tulio. Would have been booked for that. Benicio Carter says no, no, no.
Brazil pushing ahead once more. Edmundo. And the door slammed shut on Edmundo's attempt. But out now for Zinho. Heavy touch. Puts himself in danger, but does well to recover, and it's all the way back for his keeper.
Sampaio knows his position. A heavy touch, not helped by the pitch, but still protected the ball. Not allowing Uruguay to recover there. Would have been very dangerous.
Great change of pace. Defenders scrambling back. Here's an opportunity. Tugged through. And knocked off for a corner.
Edmundo back then was playing for Flamengo. He went to... Later on, he played with Batistuta and Fiorentina.
Great interception. Uruguay looking to move the ball in a hurry. Rapidly across midfield. Alvaro is stuck in his foot. Complicating matters in possession back for Brazil. Great vision from Roberto Carlos hitting Edmundo. Patience from Edmundo. Waits for Tulio. A wave of yellow jerseys inside the area for Brazil. Still a developing situation, and now the flag is in the air.
Once again, Juninho, I don't think it's offside. The assistant says it's in the near side where the offside happened. 2 other players were offside, not Juninho Paulista. A mistake by Jorginho cutting to the middle instead of taking a shot. And the defenders were retreating. What a beautiful view there of Montevideo. There's Juninho. Instead of taking a shot, he cuts to the left, and they close him down. So next Copa America, we'll be watching At the end of this month, we'll be playing in Venezuela, which is the only country that had never hosted a Copa America until this summer, and still the only country in South America without playing a World Cup.
In fact, they've never advanced out of group play in the Copa America. But considering they're playing at home, drawn into a relatively easy group, certainly you have to consider that they have a decent chance to make it to the quarterfinals this time around.
Well, Argentina had hosted Copa America 8 times. None for Venezuela until now.
Shot well over the top of the bar.
Mentioned Uruguay looking for their 14th title. Argentina has 14. Brazil only 6. Paraguay and Peru with 2. Bolivia and Colombia with 1, which they hosted. That's when they won it.
Slipping back into his boot.
There's an impressive record for Uruguay in Copa Americas. They're undefeated at home in Copa Americas. 38 matches, no losses. Winning 31, drawing 7, including this one.
Much of that has to do with Uruguay playing in this stadium where historically the national team has been almost invincible at Centenario.
The last couple of qualifiers where Venezuela surprised them.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. They lost here in Montevideo to Venezuela in the last qualifiers.
Squirts out for Sampaio.
So much history and so many stories in the Copa America. For example, longest match in Copa America, it's the final between Brazil and Uruguay in 1919. 150 minutes. 90 in the regular time, 2 extra times for 30 minutes.
Brazil won that 1-0. After finally getting a goal. When you have to imagine the players were crawling by the time the match finally came to its conclusion.
And back then, really, there were no substitutions, no cards,
right?
Nothing. Just keep playing till you drop dead.
Good touch back over the top for Francescoli. Ropes it in. Dodges a trio of defenders. Finds support. Good ball movement now from Uruguay. Fonseca. Laid off for Fonseca. Quality touch from Juninho. Back for number 10. Turning the corner is Edmundo. He's ripped to the carpet. And that draws the attention of Arturo Carter. Free kick for Brazil.
The animal loses his patience waiting up front. He drops to midfield, and they know better. They cannot let him start from midfield. If he starts dribbling, he'll continue. And harder to stop him later on. But right away, they slow him down.
It's a great stick as Battle wages right on the center stripe, but the foul is going to go against Juninho.
Well, started to step on the ball. Interesting how hard Juninho's working in midfield, where he's trying to earn a spot. Although he had earned it, he's been the starter since after the World Cup '94. But still, showing Mario Zagallo he can trust him.
Only 22 years old when this match was played. Zinho. Roberto Carlos directing traffic from the back, taking his time, picking out his captain, Dunga. Now the ball checks up Dunga's pass a bit unlucky, but is still corralled by Edmundo. He goes flying inside the area, but play continues. Dunga to intercept.
Always a great vision by Dunga and the talent from Roberto Carlos.
Yeah. Yep.
Always showing off. Why not? He's got it.
Here's Juninho. Turns and faces the target, has some help in front, tries to hook up with Tulio. Tieta streaking down the far touchline. Nobody able to close him down. The service comes in too easy, and the header into the open arms of Tafarel.
Wow, number 5, Alvaro Gutierrez, who was playing for Nacional in Montevideo back then, comes out of the hole, the defensive mid. Beautiful cross for Fonseca, who heads it straight into Tafarel's hands. First chance for Uruguay, the best in the 29th. Bermos, again, not allowing Edmundo any comfort, and Nunez screaming at his players, who thinks he should have scored already. And Zagallo's furious they allowed Fonseca that header in the small box almost. It's Zagallo, look at him. So intense. He lives the game, he loves the game.
Roberto Carlos does well to elude the defender and hit Juninho. Off the chest of Edmundo. It's back for Edmundo. Oh, and a pass into the little box and touched in by Tulio.
In the 30th minute, great combination, and it's Edmundo who beats a defender, sends the ball in. And Alves stays on the ground. Edmundo with the assist and Tulio with the goal. Could have been a handball also. So it's 1-0 for Brazil, who they're playing a little bit better and Uruguay. Beats Tabare Silva to that ball. It's Zinho involved again with Edmundo, give and go. It's hard to tell.
He may have gotten that one squarely off the chest, unlike the goal that was scored in the quarterfinals against Argentina.
Alves asking for help, the goalkeeper. He came off his line. Did not expect Edmundo to send that cross towards Tulio.
Third goal of the tournament for Tulio.
Very brave Brazilian fans at Centenario. Let's see if this angle. No. We've seen it, what, 10 times?
10
we're still
times,
not sure, right?
Right. But just as Zagallo was getting animated on the sideline, as you mentioned, somewhat frustrated, they hadn't scored yet on cue. Tulio at the half-an-hour mark, and Brazil scores the opener of the 1995 Copa America final.
Nunez is warming up a couple of players already for Uruguay. Player down on the pitch, stretched out. Looks like Tabare Silva, the left back. Oh, that's who they're showing us now. There, he might have injured his left knee. Not clear. Really? Zinho booked by Maurizio Carter. A foul against Francescoli.
It's hard to tell. I don't know if we can get a better look at it than
Great
that.
effort, guys, but we still can't make up my mind.
Nice try. Drifting away from the target. Couldn't get enough power on it as Zinho's officially booked.
Uruguay holds an interesting record. It's the only team they have a positive head-to-head against all of the South American nations in Copa America. Very interesting.
Yep.
Of course, the Uruguayans won the Olympics in 30 and 34. They started winning everything. Won the World Cups in 24 and 28, the Olympics are. Right, the World Cup in 30. First one they hosted at home, they won it. So they began very early, winning everything.
And that victory in the 30 World Cup, the first World Cup, this stadium.
Yep. First final played here.
4-2 the final score. Uruguay beat Argentina.
The USA finished third in that World Cup. Okay, it's Adinolfi will be coming in for Tabare Silva, left back. Change for Nunez. Silva got injured. Ricardo Adinolfi. Played for River Plate in Montevideo. He ended up playing in Israel later on.
Pass picked off. A tangle of limbs. Zinho and Mendez going at it.
That should have been his first yellow card. Now it could have been his second. Mendez gained positioning and Zinho did not like it. He pulled him down. And now Dunga claims he's in hard on Mendez. Says, don't do that to a little guy, number 11. Zinho and Dunga probably saw an elbow that referee did not see. In the 35th minute, a very good chance. Right from the top of the box, they'll take a free kick. Yet going down. Good chance for Enzo. Seca decoy behind the ball.
Enzo, and he tugs it just about a yard wide of the target.
As he puts it over the wall, but off target. Tabarel might have it covered. Enzo was playing back in River Plate in Buenos Aires after playing in Italy and France.
Once again, Mendez the victim of another foul.
Again, it's Zinho living dangerously. Both are Uruguay and Brazil involved in games with a lot of goals. In 1927, Uruguay defeated Bolivia 9-0. 57, Brazil defeated Colombia 9-0. Game with the most goals in 1942, Argentina defeated Ecuador 12-0. You can say defeated. And 1945, Brazil 9-2 over Ecuador.
Fans applauding the efforts of Edmundo. Getting by Moas. That goes down in a heap with the free kick. Given it was him.
Moas claimed he got ball. Without a doubt, one of the top forwards in the world back then, and Too hard to control. off the pitch.
Yeah.
On the pitch, hard to slow down.
Nice.
Off the pitch, he never stopped either.
Crowding the wall. A trio of options behind the ball. Set on target and snatched by Alves.
I mentioned he later ended up playing in Italy. Edmundo playing in Fiorentina. Well, comes February, and Edmundo disappeared. Nowhere to be found. And Fiorentina had a match, and well, he went to the carnival in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, of course. That's kind of a player that Edmundo, like the animal, got involved in brawls, got major problems. One of those carnivals, he was drunk and he ran over a couple of people and killed them, and he ended up in jail for a couple of weeks also. So, but he has been behaving the last couple of years, playing for Palmeiras, by the way, still playing. Finally matured enough.
He was only 24 when this match was played. Captain Dunga. Well, just behind Juninho. Here comes Uruguay, storming ahead. Enzo wants it back.
Otero should have taken a shot. Where else was he going to dribble into the 18? Ouch. Somehow Sinho's always getting hit. There you go.
Roberto Carlos. Really, effort from Edmundo.
Yeah, square foot, he can dribble past defenders twice, and he beats them and right. Tries again. It's too impressive at Edmundo.
Closed down by Juninho. 1v1 cross still comes off, but ineffective as it's scooped up by Taffarel.
A story for Taffarel after World Cup '94. Leaving his hotel after the final game, he left his wallet in the taxi cab. Well, taxi cab, soccer fan, returned it to the hotel. That was after he was already a champion. He was buying it. He went home. Went to the malls to buy a gift for his family and lost his wallet. He came back to the hotel. There it was. Very nice.
Mendes plays it square. Here's Gutierrez. Continues the switch. Poke towards the end line and no chance.
Arinolfi pushing forward. But once the defenders realize he's going to lift the ball, chip it over their heads, they step up, and everybody would have been offside. Wow.
Gambling against Toledo. Great composure by Juninho to bring it down. Spreads it out wide. Jorginho. Back with Juninho. Settled by Roberto Carlos. Edmundo. Again, elusive. Now continues his run through the area. And nearly found the seam. They had a wide open Edmundo. Off the chest of Roberto Carlos. Now he looks to engage. Instead, Pulls it out for Zinho. Heel ball from Edmundo. Wanted to go back with Zinho.
Very simple. When the defenders of Uruguay close down and make a perfect line, it's a give and go. It's going to break that up. And Edmundo's always trying give and goes.
Switch by Dorta. Just outside the box, Uruguay building their attack. This could be an opportunity as the ref signals play on, but an innocent shot corralled by Tafarel.
Yeah, but it was number 5, Sampaio, who closed them down, not allowing a shot from the top of the box. It was Francescoli tries to bring it down. Well, he brings it down, but then he's closed down by Sampaio. Watch out.
If Leo got on the other end, it could have been his second of the match. Tunga. Lapse in concentration from Roberto Carlos.
It's the 44th minute. I don't know. I don't think Uruguay can tie it before the end of half. Could have been a foul inside the 18. They're showing us. Nunez is going to have to make some changes. They have the tools on the bench. I forgot to mention Nunez, by the way, coach Atlético Madrid, coach Tenerife, coach Las Palmas, Valencia, Rayo Vallecano, all Spanish teams. Granada and Valladolid also in Spain.
Too aggressive on the entry ball. It's off the end line. Goal kick to Brazil as we approach the end of the opening 45.
The second half of Uruguay, maybe make a couple of changes up front. Otero and Fonseca have been well controlled by the Brazilian defenders.
Elusive run through the center circle, but then a loose pass, and it's intercepted by Zinho. Roberto Carlos just inside his own half. Searching ball. Pushed down onto the flanks. An opportunity as we roll into stoppage time. No one had made the run to the back post.
It was Tulio offside up the middle, according to the linesman. And it was a good call.
And that's it for the first half. Brazil in front, 1-0. Tulio at the half-an-hour mark. The difference in this contest so far. We'll step aside highlights from the first half of the '95 Copa America final coming up. The finals of the 37th edition of the Copa America. Join us as we relive the finals between Uruguay and Brazil next on Goal TV. Hello, everyone. The date was July 22nd, 1995. The venue, the famed Centenario Stadium in Montevideo, Uruguay. I'm glad you could be with us to relive a moment in history, a classic matchup between Uruguay and Brazil. Alongside Rafu Insane, I'm Kelly O'Donnell. We step back in time to enjoy this match between two of the CONMEBOL giants. In fact, this was a familiar scene in the 80s and 90s. Uruguay and Brazil facing off in the Copa America title. In fact, this was the third time in 6 Copa Americas that these two teams met in the championship.
And the world champs, Brazil, coached by Mario Lobo Zagallo, taking on Uruguay, coached by Hector Nunez. Uruguay at home trying to clinch another Copa America for them. The lineups for this match: in goal for Uruguay, Fernando Alves, Gustavo Mendes, Jose Herrera, Eber Moas, and Tabaré Silva in the back line. Gustavo Poyer, Álvaro Gutiérrez holding, Diego Dorta, Enzo Francescoli creating behind Marcelo Otero, and Daniel Fonseca, number 9, for coach Hector Nunez. Starting 11 for Nunez at home at Centenario. Let's see who Lobo Zagallo brings onto the pitch. This legendary stadium. It's Claudio Tafarel in goal, Jorginho, Aldair, Andre Cruz, Roberto Carlos, and Dunga, Cesar Sampaio, Juninho and Zinho. Up front, the animal, Edmundo next to Tulio.
Uruguay beat Brazil in the '83 Copa America final. Brazil returned the favor in 1989. In '95, essentially the rubber match of this series. How did it turn out? We'll get to the kickoff next on Goal TV. We've taken a step back in time to relive the 1995 Copa America final between Uruguay and Brazil. Uruguay looking for their 14th Copa America championship, and doing so, they would tie Argentina for the most ever championships won in South America. Brazil looking for their 5th Copa America title. Of course, Brazil in yellow, moving from right to left at Centenario Stadium in Montevideo.
So, and this is the summer of '95. Remember, in the summer of '94, Brazil clinched their 4th title. And Coach Parreira, and the assistant was Mario Lobo Zagallo, who's now taken over the national team. Made a few changes. And the back line, Andre Cruz, number 14, who was playing for Napoli. Very talented left-footer central defender. And Roberto Carlos starting in the back line for Brazil, replacing Leonardo. Also, Juninho Paulista with number 10 earned a start in this lineup for Brazil. There you have Zinho, who's playing right now in the USL with Miami FC. There he was playing in Japan after the World Cup in '94. A lot of players from Brazil went to Japan.
Zinho just celebrated his 40th birthday within the last week.
There's a young Juninho, debuted for Brazil in a friendly in London against England. Brazil won 3-0. So Claudio Taffarel is the goalkeeper. He was still playing in Brazil before traveling to Italy, played for Parma in Serie A. He was playing for Atletico Mineiro. Right back Jorginho, who's had still Cafu on the bench, was playing in Japan. Aldair, the veteran, played until he was 40 years old for Roma. Andre Cruz and Roberto Carlos, the back line. In midfield holding Cesar Sampaio with number 5, and Dunga. You see the young Roberto Carlos. Dunga, the coach today for Brazil. Zinho and Juninho, the playmakers. The animal Egimundo with number 7, with center forward Tulio. Now for Uruguay, coached by Héctor Núñez, a veteran coach who made most of his career coached in Spain. Had Fernando Alves in goal. Right back, Gustavo Mendes. In the middle, José Herrera, who played for Cagliari. José Herrera, by the way, played right back. He was switched to sweeper later on in this tournament by Núñez. Eber Moas is the other central defender. Tavares Silva, the left back. Holding in midfield, Gutierrez, number 5, and Poyet, number 11. Dorta and Francescoli creating behind Fonseca, number 9, who was playing for Roma. He ended up in Juventus later on with number 7, Marcelo Otero. There you have Marcelo Otero asking for the ball.
All set inside the area, but it's Taffarel sprinting off of his line to collect. Quickly outlets to the far touchline. Errant pass intercepted by Uruguay, but quickly taken back and out contact. And the first foul of the match comes in the 4th minute.
That's very good. And by the way, Arturo Bricio Carter is the referee from Mexico. He's assisted by Bomer Ferro from Ecuador and Adrian Gomez from Venezuela.
Threaded through inside the area near the end line. Not much room to operate. It's touched off, and it will be a corner kick for Brazil. You mentioned Ronaldo on the bench for Brazil, just 18 years old when this match was being played, back before the phenomenon became the phenom.
The veteran coach Zagallo. Every time Brazil wins a title, you gotta find him. He's involved somehow. He's the coach, he's the assistant, he's a player, or he's something, but he's there, sitting on the bench. Mario Lobo Zagallo, what a story.
In fact, he's the first footballer to win the World Cup as a player. Did it twice as a coach and as an assistant coach, of course, with Brazil every time.
And most of the times, Parreira is involved. For example, in 1970, people forget Carlos Parreira was the physical strength coach for Brazil when Mario Zagallo was the coach. Then it switched in '94. He was assistant Zagallo for Parreira, and they did it again in '98. It's incredible. I think '98 is the only time he hasn't won it. Zagallo, when he's been involved. And he was close. He made it to the final.
Yep. Knocked away by Herrera. Good misdirection, finding space out on the flank. Juninho drifting ahead, looking for the service. Instead, Brazil protecting the ball. They drop it back in their own half, and another confrontation as the Mexican official Arturo Carter has to intervene.
Of course, the leader of this team, Dunga, always with that haircut, military style. He still looks exactly the same as he used to. It's interesting. It's late winter in Uruguay in July. And the Brazilians should be colder wearing short sleeves.
Zinho to supply from the corner. And swinger popped in the air by Alves, who the keeper was fouled.
On the bench for Uruguay, you have players like Ruben Sosa, who was a playmaker for Inter Milan, and Marcelo Saralegui, who's a midfielder for Racing Avellaneda, Rubén da Silva, center forward for Boca Juniors, the famous Polillita, and Pablo Bengochea, the maestro for Peñarol, on the bench for Núñez in Uruguay.
Zinho defended by two, touched out of bounds by Adinolfi.
For Brazil, you got Dida, the backup keeper, for example, Savio on the bench, and none less than Ronaldo on the bench. Here we go.
But Carlos, the man that suffered the foul. Mendez involved. Carlos hot under the collar, being settled down by a number of teammates. Cesar Sampaio among them.
It's Herrera who hit Edmundo very hard, and what a very strong tackle both ways. Herrera's, and look at Roberto Carlos coming in. Oh, we didn't. Coming in very strong. Should have been booked by Brasil Copa. Yeah, he wrote him down. Roberto Carlos got booked by Brasil Copa.